So you asked about the organization and my role in it. So the organization is Esgyn Corporation, and my role in it is the Chief Technology Officer. So looking at forward-looking and looking at what opportunities there are in the market that we can exploit. So. Yeah, so what is IoT Nirvana? So the IoT Nirvana is essentially, if you look at what Nirvana is, it's about, achieving bliss and peace and getting out of the frustrations of life, essentially. And so if you look at what's happening in the IoT world today, there are lots of different solutions that you have to sort of weave together to essentially meet the data requirements on a platform. And whether it's to ingest the data, whether it's to process it from an operational perspective, whether it's to do the analysis on it to generate the analytics and then deploy the intelligence and patterns and all that stuff, all of that requires different sets of software. And what we have done with Esgyn DB is that it can actually do all of that together. So you can have ingest done in Esgyn DB. It provides the operational capabilities of running the system, because we have what's called hybrid transactional analytical processing. It can do the analytical processing as well to facilitate the deployment of these models and so forth as well. So it supports the entire IoT life cycle. So instead of having to deal with 4 or 5 different vendors, getting skill sets for all of these products, and having to then make these work together with different versions and so forth from an operational perspective, performance and so forth so on, it simplifies the whole thing. So that's what the Nirvana is about. Yeah, so the kind of things that businesses need to know about that we are working on is really, first of all, it's the enterprise class capabilities. I mean, a lot of these are mission critical sometimes in a lot of cases from an operational standpoint and all that. So we are really working towards getting mission critical enterprise class capabilities to this. And we've already done a lot of work in disaster recovery, point in time recovery, multi-tenancy and HA and all of those kinds of things, but we are actually moving now and expanding that. We already have a very good security integration with the Hadoop ecosystem and full ANSI SQL grants support, but we are now going to be actually enhancing that to provide data governance and so forth. So that's the first area, that's the enterprise class. The next area is really about database as a service. So a lot of people really don't want to deal with having to, start these new technologies and be able to figure them out and deploy them and all that. So we provide full, POC, build and test, integration testing, pilot deployment, everything, the whole, we provide all the services all the way around. So you can pick and choose the services, but that's a database as a managed service that we are providing. So the customers can just focus on building the IoT application. So that's the second area where we are really focused on that will help IoT customers. The third is really about integration with these different technologies. So you might want a different data model like Solar for search. You might want like graph database integration for Janus Graph, streaming integration with Kafka and all these, or integration on the analytics side. So it's TensorFlow and R and so forth so on. So we provide the way of parallelizing all that. So that's the third area. Essentially the fourth area is hardware acceleration. So we are looking at all the hardware technologies that are coming about from a non-volatile memory, SSD, HDD, and all of that. So from multi-template databases, as well as being able to do in-memory kind of thing. So that's another focus with FPGAs and stuff like that. So that's the fourth area. And the final area is really about blockchain. I think you'll see a lot of blockchain technology coming into play in the IoT space. And so we are looking at integrating with some really good blockchain solutions and open source as well, so that we can leverage that for our custom IoT customers. So those are the 5 different areas.
So I'd like to cover one of our customers, Smart Grid in China. It is one of the largest power management company in the world. The way it started was they have in China something called Energy Day, where they're requesting the end consumer to consume less energy so that they can conserve energy. But the manufacturers who are producing the energy has no visibility into that. So what the government wanted was complete the loop. So they went and then they picked one of the provinces which was equipped with 40 million smart meters, and then which is generating lots of data. And then that means like rapid ingestion of data is happening, so that the second step is they want to alerts, so that based on the consumption, so that the end users who are producing the energy can look at that and control the energy, right? And then also you want to do a lot of reporting during that time and understand the patterns, who is consuming what, so they have to write some ML. So our platform was able to provide all that. So we have competed with the other competitions, and eventually they picked us because we were able to scale because of the amount of volumes. That was a perfect IoT use case we were able to deliver. Again, going back to my point, right? Especially in the internet, is just not the data being generated by devices. You're also looking at social media data. People are doing Twitters and social, so it has to be brought all together, right? And then because you are talking about different data types, right? You have structured, semi-structured, unstructured data, and then bringing some into the same platform. So that is the platform you need, where it gives flexibility, not only from the data types perspective, also different varieties of workloads. That means you have operational workload, you have analytical workload, you have machine learning, all coming to the same platform is what we deliver. Yeah, I think I could say the manufacturing is leading, health sciences is leading it, and then there are other things like insurance companies where you're onboarding devices on the cars so that you can make real-time decisions. So those are the things we see, and then I think it's going to open up, and then you could see in the finance industry where their customers are doing 360-degree customer analytics. So I think eventually, if you look at from the telcos to healthcare to manufacturing, I think that's what right now, the more and more IoT, and eventually I think it's going to expand to every vertical, I feel. Oh, my highlight of the event has been like especially understanding the technologies out here. So there's so many companies looking at different technologies, how we can like complement each other, how we can bring them to each other, so that instead of we doing developing, so networking really helps, so that we can partner, and then so that we can take a better solution to our customers. If I have to define the Internet of Things in 3 words: information, real time.